On Mother's Day, I received a card, and my daughter made me read it out loud. Roses are red, violets are blue. You're a heavy burden. No one wants you here. Everyone laughed at me. My name is Grace. I'm 74 years old. And that was the worst humiliation of my life. It was Sunday morning. The sunlight streamed through the windows of my daughter Danielle's house. I was wearing my favorite green dress, the one that always made me feel elegant. I carried fresh flowers and sweet treats for my grandkids. Grandma Grace. They shouted, running toward me with open arms. Their hugs filled my heart with joy. For a moment, everything seemed perfect. Michael, my son-in-law, barely greeted me with a cold nod. Danielle came out of the kitchen, smiling without warmth. Mom, so glad you made it. We have a special surprise for you. I sat on the sofa, surrounded by my family. Danielle pulled a pink card from her purse and handed it to me. Read it out loud so everyone can hear. My hands trembled as I opened it. There were little flower drawings. How sweet, I thought. But as I began to read, my voice broke. Roses are red, violets are blue. You're a heavy burden. No one wants you here. Your time has passed. It's time for you to go. Signed, your family who can't stand you anymore. For a few seconds, there was silence. Then Michael started to laugh. Danielle tried to hold it in but failed. Even the kids giggled, not understanding the cruelty. You should have seen your face, Mom, Danielle said between laughs. Did you get a picture, Michael? My heart shattered. Tears rolled down my cheeks as the card slipped from my trembling hands. It's just a joke, Mom, Danielle said, but her tone was sharp. Don't be so dramatic. Michael picked up the card. Yeah, Grace, we were just playing. But maybe you should think about other options. Other options? I asked softly. You know, Danielle said, there are nice senior living places for people your age. You'd be more comfortable there. The words echoed in my mind like a death sentence. My own daughter wanted to discard me. But I thought I was coming to celebrate Mother's Day, I whispered. And you are, Mom, Michael said, his tone dripping with condescension. It's just time to be realistic. We have our own lives. My grandson came to me, confused. Grandma, why are you crying? Danielle quickly pulled him away. She's fine, sweetie. Grandma's just being sentimental. I stood up, holding on to what little dignity I had left. I should go, I said. Okay, Mom, Danielle replied without looking up. I walked out, my heart in pieces. That night, I cried until I had no tears left. But something changed in me. The humiliation awakened something long dormant. It was time for my family to learn who Grace really was. The next day, I blocked all of them. But first, I sat in my old armchair, the same one where I had nursed Danielle as a baby and let my memories play like a movie. When I was 29, Danielle's father abandoned us. He left a note saying he couldn't handle life. I held Danielle close that night and promised she'd never go without anything. I kept that promise. I worked double shifts at the textile mill, sewing uniforms until my hands bled. I sold my mother's jewelry so Danielle could study nursing. I cleaned offices on weekends to pay for her books. At her graduation, she hugged me and said, "We did it, Mommy." When she married Michael, I paid half the wedding $12,000 I'd saved for years. I gave them $25,000 for the down payment on their house. When their kids were born, I babysat every day for free. I cooked, cleaned, and cared for them like they were my own. For years, they thanked me. But slowly, that gratitude turned to annoyance. My advice became interference. My presence became a nuisance. When Michael lost his job, I gave them $500 every month to help. When he found work again, they didn't stop taking the money. I paid for repairs, computers, and even their kitchen remodel. One day, I overheard Michael on the phone saying they were looking for a proper place for me. I froze. My own family wanted to get rid of me. They thought I was a poor old woman living off a small pension. What they didn't know was that I had money. My mother had left me a property in Nassau, Bahamas, that had been generating rent for decades. I also had investments worth nearly $400,000. I had stayed quiet, living modestly, funding their lives out of love. But that love had been mistaken for weakness. After that cruel Mother's Day card, something in me broke for good. I opened my wooden box of documents and began calculating. Over the years, I had given Danielle and Michael $67,000 in direct help and countless more in kindness. They had taken everything without gratitude. I remembered the parties they hadn't invited me to, the dinners where I was treated like an outsider, the Christmas gifts ignored, the week I was sick and they didn't even call. I realized I was never family to them, just a convenience. That night, I made my decision. I logged into my bank account and canceled the monthly transfers. I closed the joint account. I called my lawyer and changed my will. Everything that once belonged to Danielle and Michael would now go to a foundation for abandoned seniors. My grandkids would get a trust only if they proved genuine love and stayed in contact with me, not out of obligation, but from the heart. Then I bought a first-class ticket to Nassau. I was going to see my property, my future, my freedom. But before I left, I wrote 2 letters. The first was to Danielle. My dearest daughter, by the time you read this, I'll be on my way to Nassau, where I'll live in the home I inherited. I have stopped all financial support. For decades, I gave you everything, my time, my money, my love. But you chose to see me as a burden. The Mother's Day card was only the final blow. I have changed my will. What was once yours now belongs to those who understand love and respect. If you ever want your mother back, you will have to prove you value me for who I am, not what I can give. Then to Michael, I accepted you as a son, but you turned me into an inconvenience. I heard you talking about finding a place for me, as if I were furniture. You never knew that I already had that place, one far better than anything you could imagine. I funded your life for years, and you mistook kindness for weakness. That ends today. Stand on your own feet. I sealed the letters and left them on my coffee table. Then I looked around my small house, smiling for the first time in years. It had taken me 74 years to learn one simple truth. You teach people how to treat you by what you are willing to accept. For years, I had accepted crumbs because I feared being alone. But now I knew that being alone with dignity was far better than being surrounded by those who made me feel worthless. And as I packed my bags for Nassau, I realized I wasn't alone at all. I was finally free to live, free to breathe, free to be Grace.